12:09, welcome back to RSN Central, and it is time for the Friday lunch. This is the time where we end the week here on RSN Central, and if we could, we would be having a Palmer and a beer, maybe a Carlton draft or a Furphy these days, but instead it's a sausage roll with a little bit of sauce. Nick Quinn joins us as always. Good morning to you, afternoon, Quinny.
G'day, Gareth. I'm a little bit depressed, actually,
Why?
after speaking to Jamie. Well, you look everything he's achieved in his life, and you're 7 years older than him. I'm 5 years older than him.
I'm not 7 years.
No, I think you are.
No,
I think you
maybe
are.
5.5. How old are you, Jamie Richards? Good afternoon to you.
Afternoon. How are you?
Good, thanks, mate. How old are you?
30.
Yeah, I'm only 5.5 years,
Jeez,
20.
you haven't aged well.
Well, I haven't actually. I looked at someone took a video of me yesterday. I looked at the back of my head, and I never knew I had so many grey hairs.
That's
Anyway,
all right. We can fix them.
It is depressing.
It is depressing. What a
20
superstar Jamie is, though.
Oh, he
He's
is.
absolutely flying.
And you've probably been one of the biggest flogs walking around the birdcage of recent times.
Oh, pot kettle
Like,
black.
Any celebrity, can I get a photo from my Facebook? And Usain Bolt, between you and Matty Jenkins, you've taken about 100 photos of the champion between you.
I'm surprised we've gone this long without dropping one of the names of the people you've rang into. But I heard Joel Selwood gave you one of the great sledges in the
Did
mounting
he?
yard the other day.
What did he say?
No, I just heard.
It's false.
Okay.
You got to have some substance to back up those rumours, Nicholas.
Okay.
Anyway, our special guest has
So no sledge from Joel Selwood?
No, I would have sledged him. No socks on again,
You
Joel.
said you look 6 months pregnant.
I'm sick of people teasing me about my weight today. Anyway, Jamie Richards is a superstar. He is the head trainer of Tiaco Racing, so it's probably the same as what James Cummings is.
Bigger.
Yeah,
Bigger.
He's the boss of Godolphin.
Bigger.
Tiaco Racing is the biggest racing empire in New Zealand. Jamie, welcome to the Friday lunch.
Thank you for having me.
Do you like that responsibility at such a young age?
Yeah, it's good. Something to strive for, and we certainly take great responsibility and pride in the horses that we've got in the stable.
Now, we'll have a chat to you a little bit further in the way how you got that job at such a young age, because it's the plum job basically in New Zealand racing. This is the Friday lunch on RSN Central. Our special guest is the head trainer of Tiaco Racing over there in New Zealand, Jamie Richards. Jamie, how did you get the job?
I was fortunate enough to meet David Ellis's daughter, Julia Rose, when I was at university, and we became good mates, and sort of went from there. I did a bit of study at Otago University, then I did a bit of travelling, got a scholarship, spent some time in England, Ireland and America, and came back and worked for New Zealand Bloodstock and worked for Waikato Stud, and was approached by Dave to come and be his racing manager at that stage. And I'm from a racing family. My father was a jockey and trained, and racing had always been sort of my passion. The breeding side of things just wasn't didn't get the same buzz out of it, going to the races and everything like that. So made the decision to go and work for Dave. Then they had a bit of a restructure, and I trained in partnership with Stephen Ortridge for 2.5, 3 years, something like that. And then been on my own for the last 12, 18 months, so it's been great.
So who was your mentor in training horses?
I'm not really good with those sorts of things. I just
Okay.
sort of go out and do my best. But I guess when I was learning, my father was training and was involved in the daily running of his stable. And then Mark Walker, who is part owner of Tiaco with David Ellis, who trains in Singapore.
Yep.
He's been a great mentor to me. I've always bounced a lot of questions off him, and still do today, about particular horses, or where that horse might be better programmed, or how do we get some black type with this horse because it's only going average, or any of those sorts of things. And obviously Stephen Ortridge was a massive supporter, and I still train at the same place in Matamata that Steve does now, and we still talk about the horses and plan programs, and ask them if I'm giving this one enough work or not too much, or all of those sorts of things. So I've got a great group of people to bounce questions off, including my father, Paul, who now works for us. He's in the South Island with a team of horses for the Cup Carnival down there, and obviously David Ellis, we speak 20 times a day, and just to and fro about all the horses. So yeah, it's good, it's great.
What's your philosophy in training?
Just sort of let the horse tell you where they're at, really. we're probably renowned for having a few 2-year-olds, but that's not through undue pressure. We like to go and buy early horses. Because we're such a big syndication company and owners want results, so we try and buy early horses that are going to run at 2 and get better at 3 and get better at 4 and 5, like Melody Bell has. So we've always had good success with 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds and guineas races and derbies and things like that. So it's been a really good 12-18 months to start off on my own anyway.
When you come across to Australia, are you taking it how popular your runners are and how much the racing fans over here not only know everything about them but absolutely love them?
Yeah, I guess we're in a position in New Zealand where unless they're sort of the best horses in the country, they're not going to be able to compete over here. So they've obviously got high profiles like Te Akau Shark, like Melody Bell, like Ginger Nuts. They're all very good horses in their own right, and they come over here and they've performed well. So we've got a lot of respect for the opposition over here, but we like to come over and give it a crack as well.
What's it like training a horse like a Te Akau Shark? He's so exciting, and I was over there in New Zealand, the southern part, when he won one of his bigger races. I think Paul Gallen was over there. We caught up with him at a nightclub over there in Christchurch.
Another name drop. We just play a game and see that massive jar full of coins. Every time he drops it home, we put a coin in. So we need to get that refreshed.
But he was so excited to see the shark over there, and then we've seen him here in Australia. But he has, I think it's because of his name, isn't it? That obviously his ability, but everybody wants to talk about Te Akau Shark now right across Australasia.
Yeah, his name is obviously well documented. The story behind it. It could have been Te Akau Storm, and it was Te Akau Shark because they won the NRL Grand Final. So, I think he's built a profile, and not only because of his name, but probably because of the way that he races, his racing pattern. I think people sort of, those horses that get back and need luck, like he does, they're not always going to win, but you get a good run for your money. So, he's a very exciting horse. Not a straightforward horse to train. He's got a few aches and pains and a few little niggles, but we know him really well now, and we think we've got him going pretty good.
What's he doing now? Is he back in New Zealand?
He's back in New Zealand. He went back last Wednesday. He's had a few quiet days. He got vetted out. He's in the spelling paddock now. Everything looks clean as a whistle, and 3 or 4 weeks off, and then we'll get him ready for the autumn.
He had a great campaign without winning a race. In fact, I don't think I've ever seen a horse have such a good campaign without winning. I know a lot of people said Osborne Bulls was something similar. At the end of it, do you look back a little bit frustrated because with better draws, with luck in running, he might have, won 2 or 3 races, or are you really pleased with what he achieved, an up-and-coming progressive horse, despite all those factors that went against him? Yeah,
I guess it's two-sided, isn't it?
Yeah.
Really proud of what he's been able to achieve coming over from New Zealand and running second in the Tramway, second in the Epsom. Looks like he's been beaten by a real top liner, and then third in the Cox Plate. So incredibly proud of the horse and what he's been able to achieve. But as you say, if we had been able to draw a barrier somewhere, or we might have just been half a spot closer, the results could have been a little bit different. But that's racing, and we've all been involved long enough to know that we'll have a little bit of luck somewhere down the line that hopefully might go from there.
Now, one of those barrier draws that didn't go your way was at the Cox Plate, and I love this. I would love to play poker against you because you were shattered after that draw. You didn't try and put a politician's spin on it. You were openly distraught about the draw. And at the end of the day, thanks to a beautiful, beautiful ride, it probably didn't actually come into play as much as we feared at the time. But what happens when that happens? You just show disappointed. You can't hide it. You don't try and put on a poker face. You let people see exactly what you're thinking and feeling.
Yeah, well, it was sort of a range of different emotions because we sort of went to track work, knew the horse was going well, thought he'd work well, which he did, so that was great. And then we're up on the stage and they say he's made the field and charging and this is great, and then they give us the outside barrier, so I was just so deflated. But anyway, I love the horse to pieces and was just gutted, but he did a great job for us. So anyway,
it's a tough game sometimes, racing, but it's a beautiful game and so many different emotions. And I think that morning is a perfect example. You probably wake up and you have a little bit of anxiety because you're uncertain whether your horse will be in the Cox Plate, whether he gains a start. You work him that morning and then the barrier draw. So you have a high. When did you get told, first of all, that he's in the race?
Well, literally when they were
So-
on stage.
Wow.
So so that's true. They didn't give you any indication
No,
before that.
The committee were very tight-lipped. We had no idea. We had a few owners there, and they weren't sure. There was one bloke that couldn't eat breakfast. Chris Russell was involved in the board. And there's another guy, Steve Mace, who's like the most confident person in the world, and he's never a fear of missing a go in the race. So it was a topsy-turvy sort of morning.
It should be reality TV, Moonee Valley. I know if Alistair Dwyer's listening, because I was on the table of the Mr. Quickie team, and they were watching the horses one by one, Jason Richardson reading them out. And in their head, they were trying to do the calculations whether, I think we've missed out. And not the language, but the look on their face and the disappointment and this like the charge of it, just as they leave the table and discuss, thinking, where we should have been in. But then the joy of your table when Tiako Shark's name gets called out and you can work it out. I think it's great theatre for mine anyway. Not for you, but for us.
Yeah, there was a few comments that it could have been handled differently or what have you, but
From who?
Well, from a few of our owners to start with, but it created an occasion, and it created some interest in the race and in the barrier draw, and we're just thankful that we got a start, and then we ran well.
There were a few narcs saying that he didn't deserve his place in the field, and whatever got in, something was going to miss out, and whoever missed out was going to be unlucky, and whoever got in, you maybe could have made a case they didn't deserve to be in there. Was the fact that he ran so well and that he placed in the Cox Plate a real vindication for his selection?
Yeah, I think the committee done a great job. Obviously, Greg Carpenter's heavily involved there, and the horse rated very well off his Epsom run. He rated so well that they gave him top weight in the Kennedy Mile. So, I think that his performance was justified, that he got a start in the race, and also Castelvecchio was obviously one that there was a bit of a question mark around, but I think the committee got it 100% right on this occasion, and thankfully the two horses that sort of had question marks around them, ran second and third behind a champion, and really proud of our horse.
If you've got a question for Jamie, let us know, 0416905052. This is the Friday Lunch. We're with the head trainer of Tiako Racing, Jamie Richards, Nick Quinn, and of course Gareth. I'll ask a few questions while they're coming up now. Mark Walker stayed at Mornington. Does Flemington work better for Tiako Racing?
Mark Walker was very good mates with Leon Corstens,
Okay, yep.
and I think that's where Princess Cope used to stay, down on the peninsula. Our horses are now trained from a barn in Matamata, and it's a very easy transition for them. So it's good to be here where they're racing. You don't have to do any travelling. The facilities are great. Good swimming pool, poly track, grass tracks. So, at this stage, Flemington does suit the way that we're training.
This is from Tom. Can you just explain what Tiako Racing is?
So Tiako Racing is a syndication company first and foremost, as well as a training company. So Tiako Racing is we buy and syndicate horses. We also have David Ellis has his own stable in Matamata that I'm employed by David.
Yep.
So I'm essentially a private trainer for David Ellis, but on the other hand, we also have people that we train for, different owners, different studs, Cormore, Waikato stud, Trelawney, Windsor Park, all of those sorts of studs have horses in training with us. So it's a unique model, but it works very well. And we've also got a large farm out at Tiako, which is called Tiako Stud, and that's where all the horses spell. And there's also a large cattle and sheep business there as well. So there's sort of 3 or 4 aspects of it. There's the syndication side, there's the Matamata training stable, there's Tiako Stud, and then there's Tiako Singapore.
So do you enjoy working in that kind of environment where we all know with horse trainers, it's more than just training horses these days. You need to be basically a CEO of a company. You need to delegate out to a racing manager. Many of them basically have their own media departments these days, and that's the way they communicate to their owners. Where for you, I guess you just need to concentrate on training horses.
Yeah, I think every trainer would say that the training the horses is the easy bit, straightforward.
Yeah.
dealing with the staff and the owners and everything else, that takes a bit more managing. So we've got a great support crew around us. David's heavily involved in the day-to-day runnings of the stable and managing the horses, and Karen Fenton-Ellis, David's wife, she's heavily involved with the syndication side of it, with our social media through Twitter. Got an office manager in Matamata, Lena Jones, that sort of runs me, makes sure that all the deadlines and everything are met, and my sister Libby, she's our racing manager and takes a bit of pressure off me going to the races and bits and pieces like that, so I can stay at home and plan and make sure that the horses are all going how we want them to go.
You're with Gareth Hall, Nick Quinn, and our special guest is the head trainer of Tiako Racing over there in New Zealand, Jamie Richards, for the Friday lunch on RSN Central. This is from the Form Doctor. What's the Sharks' main goal in the autumn? Is it the All-Star Mile?
It could well be. That's
Yeah.
up for discussion. We're going to have a bit of a sit down with the owners before Christmas. But we really like the look of the Queen Elizabeth, 2,000 metres at Randwick, with a little bit of easing in the ground, because he does feel the firmer stuff. So that's probably where we're going to try and work backwards from.
I love Opie Bossum. I think he's a superstar, and obviously he struggles with his weight. So in those handicap races, it was too hard for him to get down to ride the Shark. But I think he just proves he's a world-class rider in that Cox Plate.
Absolutely, and he's a champion. He's a very important part of our team. Rides a lot of work, and we think he's clearly the best rider in New Zealand and can compete on the world stage. And I think he's shown that through the spring. So he's, as I say, a very important part of it all.
I'll have to give Gareth some credit here. I have noticed every time you do this show, Gareth, every time you do your show, the SMS is rolling extremely frequently. So it's good to see you're getting people engaged, and I'm going to have a shower because I feel dirty after giving you some praise on air. But just on Tiako Shark as well, are you still learning a little bit about him? Because he does seem to have a bit of a unique racing pattern, and he seems to have a lot of talent, but he still seems to be learning as well. So not only is it exciting times ahead, hopefully, but are you still piecing together maybe where to go with him, what his pet trip might be, or do you think you've got a pretty good handle on how he is overall as a galloper?
I think we've got a pretty good handle on him, but one thing I will say is that he's still very immature. He's still got some strengthening to do. He can only continue to improve, and he's got these little curveballs and bits and pieces that he throws at us with his soundness and those sorts of things. So we've got a good handle on him, but certainly next preparation, a bit stronger. If he can hold his weight and continue to eat well, I think he's going to be a real force to be reckoned with.
So what's he like, the Shark? Is he, with his character-wise, would he be a good bloke to have a beer with?
Oh, absolutely. He's pretty cool, calm and collected.
Yeah.
Can get a bit grumpy every now and again, yeah. But I think most of those good horses have got that in them, especially when you girth them up. He sort of puts his ears back. Yeah, 100%. He's a Tiako Shark.
And he'd be dangerous too, with the rooster hair as well. He would dominate probably a nightclub in the northern part of New Zealand at Matamata.
Well, there's not much going on at Matamata, but certainly you might get over to the Tron and have a little look around over there.
Is there pressure training a horse like that? Do you get stopped all the time at the races asking how the Shark is and where's he going next? And
I guess there's a little bit of that, but we don't sort of see it like that. Like it's a privilege to be training a horse of his calibre, and he's probably once every 10 or 20 years you're going to get a horse this good. So we're really lucky to have him, and it's a pleasure to have him in the stable.
Now, Quinny's all over Melody Bell. Now, Quinn, I'll ask you a question while Jamie's in the studio with us.
Yes.
If you had to choose one horse,
yes,
Tiako Shark or Melody Bell,
yes,
which way would you go?
Tiako Shark.
I'd go Melody Bell.
Because he's got more upside ahead of him.
Do you reckon?
If I had to buy one now.
Yeah.
Where Melody Bell's won more Group 1s than any other horse in the world in 2019. So, just like my fashion, I'd have missed the boat.
Well, I think she's still got a couple of more seasons left. The Queen of New Zealand racing.
I'll bet you a long lunch, Gareth, that from today onwards, so I'll give you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tiako Shark earns more prize money.
All right, then, Jamie, whose side are you on? Are you on Team Gareth or Team Nick?
Team Quinn. It's a winning team. Look at the hair.
Yeah, I'll have to go with the Shark.
Oh, okay. What are you laughing at, Benny?
I think Melody Bell, gosh, she's a marvel, and sound and genuine and tough. the Shark, he could be one of the best horses to come out of New Zealand in recent times, and we certainly hope that he can be.
But the Bells run the other day to define the pattern a little bit. No horses could make up ground like she did in that Group 1 Empire Rose. And she chased down a pretty good one in Aristia for Team Allerton and Zara. She was just so exciting. And when you left Flemington on Derby Day, the talk wasn't warning for mine. The buzz was for the New Zealand mare, and how everyone was so appreciative that Tiako Racing set her for a big race during our Cup Week. And on Saturday, I thought she set the scene beautifully for a big week of racing. I thought she was just wonderful.
Yeah, it's great to see. And, we'd sort of talked about going to the Cox Plate with John Galvin, who manages her through his Fortuna Syndications company. But, we were mindful that maybe she might not quite be up to that sort of class, one of the best weight for age races in the world. And we were, pretty happy that we decided to go to the Empire Rose on Saturday night.
The McKinnon's a tougher test, you could say. She bounced out of that victory in the Empire Rose.
She's bounced out of it well. Craig Thornton's been over here looking after her for us and done a great job, and she's eaten well. Bloods have been good. She's ticked all the boxes that we wanted to tick, because she comes, first and foremost, and if there was ever any doubt, she would be straight on a plane home. But we can't falter, and we're looking forward to the challenge tomorrow.
She's won 15 races. What does 2020 have in store for her?
2020 probably looks a little bit different than 2019, because she's probably going to be spending a bit of time over here, hopefully. She's achieved a great deal in New Zealand, and if she can hold her form on the McKinnon tomorrow, I certainly think that she's up to being competitive in the autumn. We've spoken about the All-Star Mile. That does have some appeal. We almost came last year, but we were fairly busy at home, and we decided that we'd just put it on the back burner after doing a bit of travelling. But there's plenty of nice races over here for her, and we'd certainly like to think she's good enough to coming over.
Anything specific at this early stage?
Not particularly. I think we like the look of Caulfield and Weight for Age Mile. Just how we get there would be up for discussion, but we'll get through Saturday, get her home and give her a break, and then work backwards from there, I think.
Can the Kiwis vote on the All-Star Mile?
Yes, they can now.
They can now.
Yep.
Excellent.
And they'll be voting. Who's more popular over there,
that's
the
a good
Shark or
question.
Melody Bell?
Probably fairly similar.
After I start my campaign for Melody Bell.
Team Bell.
Yeah, team.
She was just about awarded a wild card last year, so she just about got a crack, and hopefully this year with a bit more support we should be sweet.
0416905052. Let us know. We should let our listeners vote. Who would you prefer in the All-Star Mile? Melody Bell.
Hang on, you've moved the goalposts a little bit. It went from who's going to earn more prize money to who's going to go better in the All-Star Mile.
From right now, they're both on zero.
Yep.
Who do you? And she'll win tomorrow. So that's the McKinnon. What do I get? 1.2 million. And then she'll turn up and win the All-Star Mile. Now you're out of the ball. You're out of the ball game there, Quinny.
But then she goes off and bees a mum in maybe 12 or 16 months'
Probably
time,
2
and the
more
Shark
years.
can run for another 5 years.
You can be a mum any time. 0416905052. And let's be frank, if you tell the owners, you tell me the last time a really good mare delivered a really good horse. It doesn't happen, mate.
We might be one tomorrow.
Who?
Tuesday
What about
Joy.
yesterday?
Yeah, the Oaks winner.
A Rafa Homer?
Yeah. I don't think that's ever happened before, where an Oaks winner has produced an Oaks winner, if you know what I mean. There you go. That's maybe one for the historians. 0416905052. Let us know. Who do you think will make more money, or who would you prefer right now to take home, Melody Bell or Tiako's Shark?
I'm off to a good start here.
Yep.
The Sharks coming in. No,
The
Girl
Shark.
Tuesday runs tomorrow, so
Okay.
the daughter of Tuesday Joy, and that family has been one that has bucked the trend of not throwing good offspring.
What's your week been like this week? Do you fly back home to New Zealand, or?
Yep. Yeah, we had a few jars on Saturday night, and my best mate is at Freedman's, and obviously Warning won the Derby, so we had a few tastes, and was on a 7:30 back on Sunday morning.
How'd you go?
Yeah, it was pretty ordinary. But, we got home, and we had a few running on Sunday. Looked at all the horses on Monday. track work Tuesday, Wednesday, came back over Wednesday night. The bell galloped on Thursday, and just a few media things today and bits and pieces. So it's good.
Do you enjoy all of that? Being busy and having horses in different parts of Australasia competing at the big carnivals?
Yeah, I'm not very good at sitting still. So when we're busy and we're charging, it's great. It's good to have horses spread out. And for a while there, we had horses in Melbourne, Sydney, the South Island of New Zealand, and a fair team at home as well. So it takes a bit of keeping up with, but it's we take great pride in doing it.
Good for the frequent flyer points.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we'll hopefully get a trip somewhere. The only problem is you don't really get to go anywhere unless you're going somewhere for work.
Are you with Air New Zealand, Virgin, Qantas?
Air New Zealand for me.
They have Air New Zealand have the best safety videos.
Yes,
they have different safety videos. Like they have some rippers, don't they?
Yep.
What's the current one that they've got?
Well, the current one was Air All Blacks, but that sort of backfired a little bit.
That's straight off the screens the next day.
Team Tiao Shark going forward, yeah.
Yeah, if they're listening. And the new boss of Air New Zealand is one. I don't want to drop names again, but is Mr. Foran, who is Kieran Foran's dad, who is a star rugby league player. So I think he was a big boss for one of the supermarket chains over there in the States. So maybe we can have a word to him to say for the new safety video, Tiako Shark, or maybe whoever wins our poll, it could be Melody Bell or Tiako Shark.
The Shark running at 100%, just letting you know.
Yeah. We only had the one vote. Let us know. 416-905052. What do you do on your downtime?
Don't really get a lot of downtime, and when we do, we just try and catch up on some sleep.
Yeah.
But yeah, we sort of get up and charge all day, and races Saturday, and pretty much races every day of the week.
So what time do you get up?
We sort of try and get up about 2:30 and do an hour before the.
When I was 30, I was getting home.
Do an hour before the staff arrive, and then crack on.
So you like to be there before the staff?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, wander around and have a look at the horses and check their waist feed and see how they've done. I think the more time that you can spend with the horses, the better you get to know them, and then hopefully the better they perform.
If you had to sit down and chat with James Cummings, because you probably have similar roles in a way. He's the head trainer for Godolphin, and you're a head trainer of an organisation as well, and probably at the same age as well.
Yeah, I think James has probably got a fair bit more on his plate than I do. He's training for one of the biggest, if not the biggest owner in the world, in Sheikh Mohammed, and doing a great job. I think he trained 100 stakes winners already for Godolphin, is that right? Yep. So that's a massive achievement in itself, and it gives young people coming through the industry something to aspire to. That people that start off strapping horses, taking horses to the races, going through the system, can end up in leadership roles, and it's something that I'm certainly proud to be a part of.
When did you realise that you wanted to be a big time trainer in the game?
Sort of when I went to be Dave's racing manager after I'd finished at Waikato Stud. They had a great team of horses there, and we're going around the yearling sales and buying all these nice horses. I thought, shit, this is something that I want to be involved in, and thankfully it's gone from strength to strength.
Did you set out a goals for yourself? Did you talk to Dave and say, I want to be here in this amount of time, or what do I need to do to tick the boxes for you to say, I'm ready to take on a big job like you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, I guess Dave and I, we talk every day, and go to Hawaii in the winter, and always do a little bit of planning up there and set some goals. And last year sort of wanted to bring the strike rate down, keep it under 5, train X amount of black type winners, train X amount of winners, and I wanted to try and get 2 or 3 stakes winners in Australia. We weren't quite able to get the Australia thing, but we ticked all the other boxes, and a couple of staff goals as well to get the team really going. So we set goals, and we take great pride in our stable. But I think what's particularly important with any big stable, especially when you're buying yearlings, is that probably the winning post is in the sales ring, and if you don't get it right when you buy them at the yearling sales, that can be hugely advantage or disadvantage, your stable for the next 2 or 3 seasons.
It's like drafting, isn't it? You've got to draft the right players into the team and whatnot, and obviously so much of your success is determined by the fact that you get it done and make the decisions before they even walk in as youngsters. And how long does it take? I mean, we've spoken to a few footy coaches and whatnot, and I mean, remember listening to the great Terry Wallace after he drafted Richard Tambling, and he knew pretty quickly he made the mistake there, passing up on Buddy Franklin. When you see these A-graders come in, how long does it take for you to realise that there's something pretty special?
I think you get a handle on them pretty quickly. So, for example, Te Akau Shark came through a ready-to-run sale, which we have next month in New Zealand. Been a great sale for us. We bought Ginger Nuts through there as well, and another good horse called Hall of Fame who won a Group 1. But by the time he got back to the stable and he'd had a little break, you sort of knew that you had something, and we backed off him because he was quite a big horse, and then we took him quietly until he was a spring 3-year-old. But, you know, when he came out and won his first start, he'd come from last, broke the pattern of the day at Te Rapa. They don't win from back there, usually in the first race. I think you know pretty quickly. You know, another example would be these top colts that we buy from Karaka at the yearling sale. You know, you find out pretty quickly how they're going.
It's 1:45. This is the Friday lunch with Gareth Hall and Nick Quinn, and our special guest is New Zealand young gun trainer and the boss of Te Akau Racing, our head trainer of Te Akau Racing, Jamie Richards. Jamie, what's your favourite horse? Have you, like, not necessarily your best horse, but a horse that when you walk around the barn at 2:30, he always pops his head over and says, "G'day, Jamie"?
When you're training a big team, you try not to do that, because then when things happen, you sort of get a bit down or whatever. But you know, like I like the good horses, you know, and I think everybody does, don't they? But to go around and have Melody Bell, Probabeel and Avantage all side by side that won 3 Karaka Millions in a row, that you know, it's really good to go and give them a pat first thing in the morning.
Afternoon, Melody Bell, the best horse in Australasia. Her first 3 foals will sell for over $1 million, where the Sharks lost his joy to make cash after he retires. That's from Tony. Very good point from Tony.
So is that another tick for me?
No, he said Melody Bell will make more money. You said make more money.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
You get me on a technicality here. I said prize money, surely. We'll
No,
go to the judges here.
No, Jamie, we've got him, haven't we?
No, Jamie voted for the Sharks. So
Yeah, well, he didn't think about it, did he?
No, I was going off prize money, but there might be a technicality in there.
Yeah.
0416 905 052. Our conversation today with Jamie Richards. Which horse would you prefer him to train, Te Akau Shark or Melody Bell? Melody Bell, how do you get nervous before a big Group 1 race? Talking about your goals, you wanted to have black type winners in this country. Did you have a Group 1 in Australia last time you went to Hawaii?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, we didn't.
So
no.
what, do you get an extra bonus if you tick that box?
Well, we'll pay a bit more off the mortgage anyway,
Yeah.
so that always helps. Yeah, I guess you get a little bit nervous. Not really one for watching it where cameras can see me. I like to just tuck away somewhere and watch it on the telly.
Yeah, do you yell?
I got a little bit vocal, Melody Bell, the other day, but usually try and keep it under wraps.
Do owners bother you sometimes? Is there annoying owners that ask stupid questions?
No, of course there's none of that. None of that ever happens. But you know, we've got some great owners and big syndicates, and we get a real thrill out of training winners for the good guys.
What's Paul Gallen like?
Paul, I don't really know him that well.
Okay.
Haven't had a lot to do with him. Just shook his hand and said hello a couple of times. Steve Mace is heavily involved with Te Akau Shark, and he's on the, I think he was or still is on the board of the Cronulla Sharks, and that's sort of how we got some of the guys involved there, and have a lot to do with Steve and Chris Russell, and you know, they're very good to deal with on Te Akau Shark, as well as Dave managing the horse.
Do you follow any? Obviously, are you an All Blacks fan?
Yeah, All Blacks fan for sure.
Do you love your rugby?
I do enjoy rugby, but like the Super 14 or 15, whatever it's called, it's usually played in New Zealand at about 7:30, 8 o'clock, and by that time we're usually a bit buggered and off to bed, so you don't really have a lot of time for outside things.
What about the New Zealand Trotting Cup, where you take notice of that on Tuesday?
Yep, we will.
Yeah.
Christchurch Cup Week is a big week for us. We have a lot of horses down there and take great pride in supporting their carnival. We're a little bit short this year, but yeah, we'll watch the cup with interest.
Nobby from Traralgon, I'd go the Sharks. So it's 2-1 here, as we've got about 11 minutes of voting left. Have you got a winner for us in Cup Week?
Anywhere will do. We don't discriminate. We don't discriminate. Codes, venues, odds.
We've got a horse in on Saturday at Riccarton. He's in the 82 mile. He's called Remington.
Yes.
He's been finding the line quite well. We thought he was a Copeland's mile horse. He hasn't quite got there, but he looks well placed on Saturday.
Opie riding?
No, Opie's over here.
Okay, that's a good point.
So Michael McNabb is riding him, and he will do a good job.
Question on Twitter. Stable names for Melody Bell and the Shark.
So Melody Bell is called Valerie.
Why?
I believe that Karen named her after... no, Melody Bell. John Galvin named her after Valerie Adams,
Okay.
the famous New Zealand shot putter.
Yep.
And Te Akau Shark is called Daryl because he was bred by a guy called Daryl Hollinshead.
I don't know why that's so funny, Benny Dave. It's got one of the... What's his last name? Daryl's last name?
Daryl Hollinshead. He's a
What a
breeder
great
and
last
trainer
name.
from Te Awamutu in New Zealand.
How do you go with the... Nicola, can we play a game? All right, then.
Go on. I'm trying to find the horse that you're tipping in the price tomorrow.
I want you to name some of the toughest New Zealand names and get Quinny to see how he goes with them. Because you've reeled them out beautifully today. Like Matter, and you just give Quinny five towns or places to pronounce, and we'll see how he goes.
So it's Riccarton race 6 number 3 tomorrow. Remington, who's currently a $4.20 chance. So
Okay.
race 6 number 3 there at Riccarton. I reckon the punters will be more interested in that than me slaughtering some of these Maori names.
Let's go, Jamie. Give him a challenge.
Righto, okay. I'm just looking on the map because I'm
Yep.
not very good at this stuff myself.
Yeah.
It'd probably work better if I read it instead of him
So
reading it.
what
to
are we
me.
going to do? Oh, I can't say it.
Okay, so pass the phone, to Quinny and then point
That's
it
dangerous.
out and see how we go. Because I think he'll stuff this up, folks. This will be entertaining. Here we go.
Okay, here we go. Oh, some Tinder notifications coming through.
This is the first one, this one here.
Okay. Thanks very much to Brad Taylor. He's trying to get me back after I put out some incorrect information of the Freedman stable the other day.
Yeah.
Wakatani?
Not bad.
Not
Wakatane.
bad.
Okay.
Wakatane, yeah. Go.
We'll go a bit
I'll give you
further
two
down the
more.
coast
Two
here.
more.
Two more. Hold on. Can you say this one?
Tuaranga? I'll take that as a fail.
No. That's Tauranga. What else have we got here? Here we are.
Notice he's
You
not
won't
letting
get
me
this
hold
one.
his phone, which
No.
You get this one.
I'm not even going to try that.
No, come on, Quinny. Be a sport. The anticipation. Silence is great, isn't it, on radio? Come on, Quinny.
Nguruwea?
That's Narrawahi. It's just outside of Te Akau.
Did I pass?
No, you failed, but it was entertaining. Now, there's a couple. I've got a few text messages coming through to ask Quinny how do you pronounce certain names. Jamie, now, can we ask some personal questions?
If we must, but preferably not.
Tinder related?
Are you married?
No.
Single?
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that race yesterday sponsored by Bumble?
Yes, I did see that.
Yeah. And what about the names in that race, Quinny? Can you read a few of those names
Well,
out?
still single last year was the best one.
Yeah,
so.
still single. There was a one like, what?
The trifecta was, the guys on racing.com went through it afterwards. It was very...
It was funny. I'll have a look at the trifecta. What was the results there of the Bumble? And good on Bumble because they've got a lot of exposure. And I think Uber sponsors them as well. And it's on our...
So the Bumble Trophy was race number 4 yesterday.
there you
Nudge
go. 1,
So You Swing second, and third, The Luckless Affair to Remember.
So You Swing, that was Matty Stewart's Bumble name. Nudge, and Affair to Remember. finishing third for Johnny Allen. So there you go. Oh, I thought that was entertaining. So obviously you would be one of the, like, if they had The Bachelor on in New Zealand, you'd be the star, wouldn't you? Like, high profile celebrity, trainer of the mighty empire of Tiako Racing, successful. Have you been on a date lately?
No, we'll just keep pretty quiet. Go to bed early and get up early. So there's honestly, there's not much to do in Matamata.
No.
It's very quiet. It's not like training in the major city of Sydney or Melbourne or anything like that.
So how big is Matamata?
Oh, about, say, 10,000 people.
Okay. So it's bigger than Warrnambool. It'd be like Ararat or Stawell, I guess, in country Victoria. Do they have a McDonald's there?
Yes, McDonald's, KFC.
Yeah, well, it's big
no
enough
Burger
to have.
King,
It's
no.
no
Hungry
Burger
Jacks.
King.
Yeah,
I think it's safe to say Jamie enjoys and looks more comfortable talking about the horses than you quizzing him on air about his off-field activities.
I think it's entertaining.
Would you like me to give you some information to go back at Gareth with?
No. Hey, now, so Melody Bell, do you think you can win?
We're confident we're going to run well. I'm not going to say we're going to win, but we're certainly going to give it our best shot.
And the best bet in New Zealand, in the southern part of New Zealand there for Cup Week, is that Saturday race.
Remington, race 6, number 3.
What's he paying?
$4.20.
Yeah, he's a chance.
That's a good bet. Better than our Hillsville Greyhound tips.
Yes, I think so. We know a little bit about him.
That's a very good point. Will you be heading... So, for Cup Week, there's the Greyhounds Cup Week, isn't there, in New Zealand?
Yeah, that's on Thursday.
So, do you get to every one of those cups?
No.
No.
We'll go back to New Zealand on Sunday morning, and there's Cup 2,000 Guineas Day is Saturday. The middle day of the Gallops is Copeland's Day, which is Wednesday. We've got another nice horse in there called Leaderboard. You can follow him. And the following Saturday is Cup Day and 1,000 Guineas Day. So we'll certainly be down there for the last Saturday, but probably concentrate on Matamata through the week.
And it gets bigger, say, in New Zealand over the Christmas New Year period, because the sales, that's a big day. Is that the best day of racing in New Zealand, or the most funnest day anyway?
Yeah, it's been very good to us that day. We've had a lot of luck there, and it's important for our stable that we have some success on that day to keep our brand front and centre for the sales in the coming days. So, we take great pride in having some nice runners that night.
It's the Karaka Sales Day, and they have races there, and it's $1 million race.
Most funnest.
Yeah, there's $2
That's
million
not even
races.
a word, I know.
$2 million races, $1 million 3-year-old race, and $1 million 2-year-old race. And it's a great spectacle. It's a twilight, and it kicks off the sale week. So it's a great promotion by NZB.
And twilight racing works over there in New Zealand?
It does in the busier centres. So, for example, when you're racing at Ellerslie, the twilights are always great, especially around Christmas time, because there's a lot of work functions and bits and pieces like that. Racing at Tauranga, which you couldn't really pronounce there's always a good twilight crowd there.
Little drive-by
it does
for me.
work.
Yeah. That's why Quinny's not allowed to work on Sky Racing 1 on Saturday mornings, because of all the New Zealand meetings. I usually just say, let's head to New Zealand for race 4, thanks to the trackside team. Who's your favourite New Zealand racing journalist?
Journalist?
Yeah.
Mick Guerin.
Do you love Mick?
Mick's a good man.
Yeah.
Don't know about that.
Well, we spoke about him before. Maybe not such.
Mickey
but
G.
He's always very good to deal with, and he's not afraid to
Have an opinion?
Have an opinion,
Yeah.
and he's a very good reporter.
And obviously he is the chief racing writer for the New Zealand Herald, and I like him because he does both codes. He has a relationship with the harness racing and also the thoroughbreds, and I think he's very important to New Zealand racing. He's a great friend of ours too on RSN, so he would love that.
What I love about him when he talks about the trots as well is that he does relate it back to a lot of people that might not be absolute experts on the sport, so they can relate. He brings it back to a footy team or a galloper or something like that, which does help then people who might like the gallops but not be harness racing experts not only understand it but then show an interest in it.
Well, Jamie, I'm looking forward to seeing you continue on and kicking all of these goals that you set up in Hawaii over the winter. It's a credit to yourself in all seriousness. To do what you're doing at 30 years of age is remarkable,
Scary.
really. It is scary. So best of luck with Melody Bell. I love and adore her, and I'll be cheering her home in the McKinnon Stakes there tomorrow. And maybe when we visit New Zealand, we can head and have a look at your stables, and we'll get Quinny up. We should do the show from Tiaco Racing, get up there at 2:30 in the morning. It's 12:30 our time.
I love it. Let's do it.
Are you tired right now?
No, I'm good.
When do you start to hit the wall?
Sunday?
Sunday. So
Yeah.
the adrenaline gets you through.
Yeah, we'll get through till Sunday, and then we'll be sweet. We'll have hopefully if we have a bit of luck, we might have a few ales, and we'll head home Sunday.
Have a taste.
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully you might meet Mrs. Richards. Or do you have Bumble in New Zealand?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. I think they do, don't they, Mikey? You would know.
Mikey, another bloke in a relationship that has to act like he's never heard of Bumble.
I've never been to New Zealand, so
Thank you, Jamie. Appreciate your time. It's been a lot of fun, mate.
Thank you.
There's Jamie Richards, the head trainer of Tiaco Racing. Thank you very much, Quinny.
Pleasure as always, Gareth.
Johnny Henry will take you through race day on RSN 927. But if you like, you can flick across to our other channel, which is, of course, the Carnival channel. And you can listen to another Friday lunch, basically, on Cup Week Radio. Simon Zara will be our special guest. And all you need to do is download the app and go to the Carnival channel. And then also you can get on our website, rsn.net.au. Thanks for that, Jamie. Thank you, Quinny. Time for a quick break before Simon Zara will be joining us here on Cup Week Radio.